Defne. I need to be able to see to make it.
Oh, do you? I'm sorry.
So sorry.
I'm sorry.
But I can't take those in the dark.
The writer of A Pageant of Great Women. My one and only aim is to impress the meaning of the suffrage movement and the necessity of working for it through my play upon this enormous capital, London. I think we, all of us, ought to realize that one of the big causes that lie behind the suffrage movement is the new consciousness in women that she is free to think for herself. It is enormously easy to agree with people who think alike, who all follow one way, but it is not easy to agree with people who think for themselves in different ways. Yet, variety means progress, and we should never get on without it. We must learn to encourage it in other people, and learn to tolerate other people, in other women especially, because they are not used to the process, the thinking for themselves. Think of the years, of the generations, that women have been taught that they must not think. What wonder that they make some mistakes when they begin to use rusty instruments. We have taken our roles from what men have told us they were to be. It is only within the last generation that we found we have a brain and a mind, and began to stumble slowly forwards, and to bring a new view to bear upon as they are, and not only upon as they ought to be. There must be the spirit. If the woman's movement is the real thing, if there is only a feeling of we are just as we are, it won't come. The cry for the vote is a symptom of bigger thing, of the blind consciousness of woman that she has a brain of her own, of the desire, even it's a blind desire, to do something to justify her place in the world. It is just because I believe in that I believe in what we call the women's suffrage movement.
Why dost thou cling to me? What dost thou ask?
I cling to justice, and I cry for
pale her cheek? Is not her day of petty cares, of petty hates and likings? When has she stood, godlike in her wisdom, great of soul? What is her prize in life? A kiss, a smile, right to claim caresses. Yet she cries for freedom. She had it, she would sell it, for a man's around her waist.
Oh, well, indeed. Well, does this come from you, who had the body as all, the spirit as not? From you, who saw us only as a sex? Who did your worst and best to quench in us the very spark and glow of the intellect? Who believed a jeer at to live and glimmer of it, and smothered it with laughter? From you, who praised a simper, far above a taunt, who prized a dimple, far beyond brains, so were we trained to simper, not to sing, so were we bred for dimples, not for brains, not souls, but foolish flesh. So, you desired us, gods have a pity, made us. Shall you cry content on your doing? Then you cry content upon yourself. Had never woman been a more than rose-leaf cheek and potted lip, you should be dumb before her meanness. You who ask no more of her. Oh, think you well. What have you done to make it hard for her? To dream, to write, to build, to learn. Oh, think you well. And wonder at the line of those who knew that life was more than love, and fought their way to achievement and to fame.
Well, you witnessed, didn't you? As prejudiced, almost every single man still sees woman only as a sex. Life is more than love and fight. Their way to achievement and to fame, as women hold. They have right to have autonomous souls, not creatures relative to men. The structure of this play emphasizes women's successes in occupations associated with men. Now, historical characters are introduced in four sects: learned women, artists, rulers, and warriors, each of which is produced in response to certain prejudices attempt to exclude women from a particular virtue or sphere of expertise. The introduction to individual women likewise stress their ability to compete with men. A pageant of great women addresses the future more than it does the past, using history to present a fantasy of what women could be. Please, enjoy the show.
And where is the man? He stands higher in the ranks of science today than Madame Curie. Last of all the train comes to the girl graduate of a modern day, working with men as eagerly and hard, and often enough deny them as reward. Is it even not enough to be the woman of first, to gain your respect? What shall we do more to come close to your strength? Though you barred from us the realms of science, decreeing love should be our all in all. Denying us free thought, free act, free word, yet some there may be burst to silken bonds, harder to burst than steel, and lived and wrought.
A dancer, a ballet dancer, a poem, a song of herself, lyric of women, ballad of gliding grace, rhythm of lifted hands, and a poised foot. Music made manifest. Come, we last of all to the living art of the actor. There will be a never ballet dancer on the stage. Some lanky, squeaky boy would play my part. And though I say it, there would have been a loss. The stage would be do, tis, now, do less, do.
And noble day. Ah, Madame Curie. In your day, our painters are more gallant, admitting women to due share of honor. You got to know the high society of England and created your own masterpieces in Somerset House. You lightened the minds of many in Royal Academy. Although your value did not signify, afterwards, whole England knew your creation. My voice down the ages reads, woven of passion and power. My mighty verse streams over the years, a flaming banner of song. What creature is it that is female in nature and hides in its form unborn children, who, although they are voiceless,
The unborn children are the letters of the alphabet it carries. And the letters, although they have no voices, speak to people far away.
Don't you think that a woman can rule a country by herself without the help of men? Definitely yes. But being a female ruler during an era dominated by a male president was not an easy task for them. Because, in theory at least, women were not expected to declare any independent authority, but were deemed submissive to male leaders, whether fathers, brothers, or husbands. However, despite patriarchal attitudes, these female rulers exercise power successfully in a man's world, and this leads them to become unforgettable figures in their time. What's more, their reign demonstrates that a woman could be an exceptionally successful ruler even in dangerous times. In this sense, they were.
Selected as a concubine, I was a little temptress. Who would say that this girl would be an empress? Would you expect from a woman to be powerful in the world of men, that cannot dare its cunning empress to outpace, born slave than the monarch of the countless race?
To give the light to thou. Thou had not dared to speak it to my face. Videetta ciao, so prejudice. But thou shalt not draw words from this Tudor speed. A man's to reign, a woman must obey, says Sarah. These must have word to be addressed to my own sex. Little man, little man. Weak and small my body may seem to be, but I had the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too. Open your eyes and see. Now, speak no more of it, for thy own good. May God forgive thou, I never be able.
Brave son, pure soldier, lily of God and France, whose soul fled hands on mixed of pain, of fire. Oh, I'm the one who received vision and heard voices from sense. For what? To recover France's army from English domination. At the age of 12, with man's clothes, I fought for my country. I won a series of remarkable military success. When I was only 17, oh, see there, a courageous woman who was captured by Burgundians and sold to English. What was my offense? I was condemned to death as a heretic, sorceress, and as adulteress, burned at the stake at the age of 19.
Oh, look on me, who stood a Briton in arms, and spat defiance at the halls of Rome. I was publicly flogged and forced to watch as my daughters were raped. Had risked my life as blind as a man, had rough and tumbled against the Romans, nobly died where need there was to die.
much be worthy to attain thy freedom. But this dialogue can show that thou art worthy to retain it. O woman, with thy feet on an untried path, O woman, with thine eyes on the dawn of the world, thou hast very much to learn.
But I shall learn it.
Yeah, truly, but it's suffering. Go forth. The world is mine. That tall alone is free. Who sees around it, never as tall and slave. Go forth. The world is thine. Oh, use it well. Thou hast an equal, not a master now.
I have an equal, not a master now. This I'll go speak with him, as peer with peer, free woman with free man.
Then let thy words be just and wise.
They shall be wise and just, free words, therefore honest. This I'll speak with him. I have no quarrel with you, but I stand for the clear right to hold my life my own. The clear right to mold it as I will, not as you will, with or apart from you. To make of it a thing of brain and blood, of tangible substance and turbulent thought, no thin grey shadow of the life of man. Your love, perchance, may set a crown on it, but I may crown myself in other ways, as you have done, who are one flesh with me. I have no quarrel with you, but henceforth, this must you know, the world is mine as yours. The pulsing strength and passion and heart of it, the work I set my hand to, woman's work, because I set my hand to it. Henceforth, for my own deeds, myself am answerable to my own soul. For this, in days to come, you too shall thank me. Now you laugh, but I laugh too, a laughter without bitterness, feeling the riot and rush of crowding hopes, longings, dreams, vehement powers, and knowing this, 'tis good to be alive when the morning dawns.
Is a performance based on the historical events from the late 19th and early 20th century fight for women's right to vote. The show represents the true birth of female empowerment. Suffrage means having the right to vote in political elections. Today, women take for granted their freedom of speech and right to vote, but it wasn't always so. During the mid-19th century, women wanted to be heard more, and groups were founded in order to make themselves be heard and not treated as second-class citizens. This powerful drama depicts the intolerance and hardship that women had to combat in order to make themselves heard in a prejudiced society. Women from history provide the evidence in a court case to demonstrate the energy and commitment required to survive as a woman in today's world. Believe it, every woman can be great. As learned women, artists, rulers, and warriors pass before you as you hear of the work they have accomplished. Give rein to your enthusiasm. Let your hands proclaim
one by one, ask them individual questions. And then afterwards we have questions for all of them.
So you want them to leave the rest of the crew?
No, no. Oh, no, no, they're just going to stay. I don't know. The others don't mind. So, yeah, why don't you push? Maybe so. Can I start with Gamze? I have a question that relates to two of your characters in the play. Elizabeth I and your Chinese empress, whose name I couldn't pronounce if I tried, so I won't try.
Elizabeth I is my name.
Wrong one. All right. Well, then the question's to two of you. What do you think these characters, these women, would have made of the suffrage movement? Would they have approved of women voting?
Well, actually, no, but they're, as we can accept that they are very important in the political area. So we can say that they are, in that sense, they are very important. And also, for example, for my character, it's called Jixi, and she is very important for China, especially, and also the Far East, because she is selected as concubine, and then she became the monarch of the all race. That's why she is very important, and maybe Cicely Hamilton wants to relate that issue with that being powerful in the world in political area.
Yeah, surely she didn't leave when Cicely Hamilton wrote this play, but surely she didn't leave when Cicely Hamilton wrote.
That wasn't my question.
Okay, I will explain more. But as she was a very important character in England history, she was a very powerful woman, and she made a huge success. For example, the Spanish Armada, she proved that a woman can achieve more than a man can achieve. That's why she's in the play, and she represents the power of women. She shows that actually she's against the prejudice. She shows that a woman also can rule, because prejudice says this man's to obey, this woman's to this man's to rule, this woman's to obey, and Queen Elizabeth proves that woman can also rule.
Right, but the suffrage movement demanded votes for every woman. Is that correct? Every woman, is that correct? Yeah. Yes. Okay. The pageant. The examples of women, apart from the woman character, are all exceptional. Do you see no contradiction there in Hamilton's proceedings? General question. Anyone can answer.
No, I think because as they are very important women in history, they are known by everyone, and Mrs. Hamilton must thought that they would be very good examples for everyone, because they are known in history, and everyone can take them as a role model.
And also they are the pioneers of women, so they all representations of women. That's why Cicely Hamilton thinks that she should.
But they're hardly typical, are they?
Yeah, but I think maybe Cicely Hamilton must have thought that the important characters from the history is chosen in order to pay attention to the audience, because when the audience know the characters, they pay attention more. In one of the articles we have read when we are writing in our essays, I read a quotation like that, and she intentionally chose the pioneers of the historical women characters in order to gain the attention from the audience, especially from the women audience.
May I remind you of the rest of the characters that you eliminated in the play?
Yeah.
Do you remember them? Yes, please. Were coming from all parts of the society, actually, the ones that we're not very aware of, remember? So there was that whole list there, but we just selected those.
Yes, we chose them deliberately.
Yeah.
Because they were.
Okay, so let me understand this properly. So in the play, but the main characters are these exceptional women, are they? Or there are other main characters who are just ordinary?
No.
Not main characters. The pageant of the women are chosen randomly, but we chose.
I see. All right.
Important ones. These are our choices.
So there are some working class women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so in that case, the next question is, why didn't you choose to include working class women? because I find it would make a more convincing argument for the suffrage if you had working class women instead of these completely exceptional figures. Hazal.
Maybe we choose these characters because they look familiar to us, and in a way we feel intimate with them because we all know them. And also there are learned women warriors, but also there are saint women. But when we searched them, we couldn't find enough information. Maybe that's the reason, because we all know them very well.
And also, like, there is no part like working class women in the play. Actually,
There's not.
No.
So that's why we couldn't choose. And as working class women, the protagonist women represents the working class, ordinary women.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she represents women in general. She's
Yeah,
not
the voice of all women in
Of course.
society.
That's right. Yeah, big issue. Yeah, Irmak. Gizem, sorry. Maybe taking it in a broader sense, but leading on from this question of who appears in the pageant and who you selected. And maybe you could lead on this question, the rest of you could follow on. I wondered, you know, if you were writing your own pageant, which women would you have liked to include who are not there in the play? From history, from any field of life. Perhaps Turkish, perhaps
Turkish.
Maybe I can add the character of Sabiha Gökçen. Maybe the first woman.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. She's also important for Atatürk. But not real.
adopted.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
that's so maybe I can include Sabiha.
And what do you think including her would add to the play?
At that time also, women were inferior to men. They were obedient and submissive. So Sabiha Gökçen was like a leader of all women from in the society, because driving a play, it's not an easy task. So I think she must have provided the power and strength to deal with this burden. So I think.
So we have one candidate. Do any of the rest of you have?
And I would like to choose Türkan Saylan, another daughter of Atatürk as well, because she is very influencing on girls, especially because as you know, in the east part of Turkey, many girls are not allowed to go to school, and she wanted to break it, and in that sense, very important, and also like she tried to bring freedom to those girls. In that sense, I think it is quite related to the issue.
May I add one character, sir? I think I would choose Hürrem Sultan because she came from a working class. Actually, she was like a peasant, and then she was selected in harem, like Gamze's character, selected as a concubine, and then she ruled the whole country. She affected the Sultan. She affected all of his decisions.
Good choice.
Any other candidates? Perhaps from in Turkey or beyond Turkey?
Yeah, they don't have to be Turkish. They can be from there. Because you didn't have any. Was there anyone from the 20th century? So you could choose people.
Pushing into the 20th century.
Right, but I mean, thinking the 20th century or 21st century, who would you choose now? Amy Winehouse. Begüm.
Maybe like
because they're, I mean, Madonna, Monroe, Angela Jolie, they all exploit female sexuality in becoming famous, so would they be problematic for you? Because a woman is very upset about just being seen as dimples and flesh and all that stuff. She gets very irate to understand. So perhaps they would be problematic, which is perhaps why you were thinking. I mean, I'd be tempted to just to say, well, women can enjoy their own sexuality and sensuality. Because your play is really quite Puritan, isn't it?
This was something else I wondered about. Maybe this is a general question. With the song at the end, it seems to talk a lot about the voice of the Lord.
Of the Lord, yes, this is very upsetting.
And so the song finishes on this, the ultimate symbol of patriarchy, the male god, sort of hovering over everything. Yes, certainly I found that worrying or problematic too. Do you find that problematic?
I mean, did you notice the voice of the Lord in the song? Hopefully you did.
But actually the lyrics were written by Slam.
I don't realize that, but you chose to sing. So you can't say, oh, well, it's all her fault.
Well, the song really was really written for the play itself.
Yes, we understand that too. I've read the play. I looked at the song online.
It should be a religious reference because...
yes, but religion is patriarchal.
Yeah, but...
At least in many forms.
Well, this particular voice, sorry, let me finish. Yeah, I beg you.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. You're right, but maybe, okay, let me say that more than patriarchal domination in society, maybe she wants to emphasize the power in religion in society, not the patriarchal.
But that power in 1910, which was when the play was written and performed, certainly Christianity in 1910 was an extremely patriarchal affair and did not help women liberate themselves at all.
Yes, but maybe it was too little radical to add another word instead of Lord or God in that century.
So she's trying to keep her audience,
maybe,
to meet them halfway, perhaps.
Yes, because she really wanted to reach everyone in the society. So maybe not writing the Lord, maybe it was a little bit offensive for the rest of the society.
I was going to say that actually our song ended with shoulder to shoulder and friend to friend, and it represented the unity of women, all of us. But I agree with Defne because Mrs. Hamilton couldn't eliminate the religion at once in that time. Maybe she wanted to balance the country. She couldn't eliminate religion, but at the same time she didn't want to push the women at the background either.
Actually, like in the play, justice is godlike figure, so she definitely refers to religion, of course, because as they said, like you cannot reject directly the religion in that society, and also because of that, maybe we can say that she called godlike figure as justice. So maybe the voice of the Lord refers to justice because God is omniscient and can see everything. And like video at Ekao and like Queen Elizabeth says, it sees everything.
Justice is conventionally portrayed in the goddess, not a god. As she is in the play, I think. So that argument doesn't fly too well, does it?
I take it before you continue with another matter, as for the choice of singing together, I asked them which parts you found strong, and they told still, since we're all together on stage singing together, and that shoulder-to-shoulder part they emphasized, they were quite content with the choice of that song. That's why, I suppose, basically.
Yes,
They
yes,
wanted to
I've
be
read your
together.
diary, so I know that.
The content they try to explain.
And it's a good idea, although brave, I think, to venture to see. I applaud your courage.
Difficult though.
It's a big challenge.
I wanted to carry on from this question by asking you about the critical reception of the, well, I have two questions. One is very simple. It's the meaning of the word pageant. And two, the second question is the critical reception of the play. So what does pageant mean?
Pageant means a ceremony, like a parade of women.
Yes. It's really a play, isn't it? So it's not actually a play. There's not much drama in it, really. Is there? Do you think there's much drama in it?
I think women's conditions are dramatic.
Per se, but I mean dramatic, the interaction between the characters. Much of the play consists of one woman coming in, making a speech and going off. That's not really, I mean, that is a pageant, but not terribly dramatic, I would have thought. A little slow.
Mostly like presentation of women.
Yeah. Okay, how about critical reception? How was it received? Excuse me. What did critics think of it? Did they like it? Was it popular?
It was popular because it was also played by, it can be also played by the amateurs. And
Yes, you said that.
yeah, because, I think this also gained attention from the audience. Because when characters feel free to be in the role, then they started to feel more relaxed and more, I don't know, be in that role and be the role that they are playing, and maybe replace themselves.
Hamilton also played in the.
Sorry?
Hamilton herself also
She
played.
yes, because she was an actress.
Yes, she acted the woman. I think before this play, she also wrote many plays about the women.
She wrote how the vote was won.
Yes, and also marriage as straight. And
Thank you. My next question. But before that, so what did the critics say? Did they notice it? Did it get reviewed? Was it praised? Was it damned? What did the critics say? Maybe they said nothing.
I think it worked because after the play, the women gained their rights to vote in Finland, but after the age of 30.
That's not my question. I'm sorry, but it's not what I'm asking. I'm asking what the critics said about the play.
I think critics like it because at the beginning of the play, beginning Who Am I take it from Sister Hamilton's speech after this play, and I found in a review magazine, and they present Sister Hamilton before the speech in a honest way, because not honest, but she becomes successful, and this play more leads her to become more successful. And said she did many things for suffrage movement, and with her following a pageant of great women, people began to take attention what Sister Hamilton is doing and why she tries such a way for women, and like that.
Okay, thank you.
Do you know much about where it was performed and how widely? I mean, was it performed again? As you said, it's not a drama in the traditional sense. It is a pageant. So one advantage of that possibly is you can stage it. You don't need a conventional theatre for it. Do you have much sense of whether it was just staged once in a big London theatre, or was it performed in village halls and across the country? Or?
I think it was first performed in London, but I don't know whether.
I think that it's spread from not
Certainly it
more
was performed
small.
later than, but I don't know really where it was performed later than London. Because in modern days, in today's world still, they are performing because we watch recent videos from the modern version of the play.
That brings me nicely to my next question, if you don't mind.
I want to ask,
Go on.
Sorry, you're younger, your brain is younger. Marriage is a trade. This is for Begüm in particular, but for all of you. We heard she wrote a play called Marriage is a Trade. I know because you talked about it. Begüm, you, I remember, quoted from Marriage is a Trade in your essay. I'm not going to ask you about the essay. What I'd like you to do is comment on, okay, Cecily Hamilton writes a play called Marriage is a Trade. Friedrich Engels says marriage is legalized prostitution. Are they saying the same thing? It's a very famous quotation. Yeah.
I don't think so. Why?
What does trade mean then if marriage is a trade? What's being traded? Oh, sorry.
I'm not sure, but Hamilton think that woman has no choice because if they get married, then they can receive education, and I think.
Really? If they get married, they can receive an education?
Yes.
I don't understand how that can be.
I read an article about Hamilton, and it says it's a way of receiving education by marrying.
Maybe it's a metaphorical use.
It's, sorry?
Maybe it was a metaphorical use, not a surface meaning of education. Maybe.
Nice word, Defne. I like it. Good catch.
Maybe it's more like a positioning in the society. Because
certainly that's one of the
without
things
a
we
husband,
get to
a woman has no role in the society. Yeah. No.
No, in many people's eyes,
Having a husband can certainly open doors.
Yeah, maybe it's a trait because of this receiving and giving this proper relationship.
What is the woman give in marriage then? If she gets reputation and status and what's she given?
Their own identity.
How about their body? Their sexual services? I think Hamilton and Engels are saying exactly the same thing.
Yes.
Are they?
Yeah. And also, for example, in my character, she said, had never woman been a more than rose leaf chicken potted. It means like,
Sorry,
your
say that again.
had never woman been a more than rose leaf chicken potted. It means.
I'm still not getting the last few words of that.
Pouted lips.
Oh, yeah, pouted lips. I'm so sorry. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yes.
And it's like advertising the woman, like in certain type of market.
Sexual service?
Yeah, definitely. So it's very referred to.
I think again, I'm trying to connect with some of you. I looked at Mina Lloyd on the 20th century poetry course who makes a very similar argument in her feminist manifesto. The question I wanted to go to, you mentioned you've seen some video of a recent performance.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, what are the implications sorry, let me start that question again. This play was obviously written for a very particular historical context and with obvious didactic or propagandistic intentions. England in 1910, the battle for suffrage. You're performing it, or you've just performed it in Turkey, in Ankara, in 2014. In what ways is the play still relevant today? Is perhaps the first part of the question. I'll let you deal with that first. And what are the implications of how does the changed context, perhaps, what are the implications of that for the play?
Can I answer this question? Still, firstly, not everyone, but some parts of the society, especially men, still sees women only as a bodily pleasure tools.
Sexual.
Yes, especially the east part of the Turkey. And still, I think, still it is relevant, and I think maybe it will be still relevant in many years later. Yeah, and especially I want to give you a little bit summary about my painting character, Angelica Kaufman. Because of her relationship with, I don't know whether it's an intimacy, but whether it's not. But she had a relationship with one of the most successful painters in neoclassical period, and one of the Renaissance, European painters, painted a portrait mocking her relationship with, I don't really remember his surname, but Joshua.
Oh, Reynolds.
Yeah, Reynolds. And I want to make a similarity between the two of them because last year not last year, but last semester we read a poem about Pablo Picasso and her, yes, in my face backpack, to reference to Pablo Picasso's portrait. And in that poem, also the woman, Pablo Picasso's lover, portrayed just the identity in order to gain attention from Pablo Picasso's work. She has lost her identity. And I think it's a similarity between the two of them still, because Pablo Picasso is not a really old painter from today's world. And when we compare the two of them, I think we have still similarities.
You asked in Turkey we presented. I thought that we're still living in a patriarchal society, especially Turkey is a very patriarchal society, and sometimes even in the west part of it doesn't matter. We can see it like in modernized version. Like for example, boys think that women should be hot, like sexy, and yeah, in that case they can date with them, etc. Still, in that sense, still relevant to this issue. I'm sorry.
Often formulating. No, maybe I won't go there. No.
I don't know what it is you're going to say, but
yeah.
I feel you should. The voice of the Lord speaking through me will tell you what. You had a second part of your question.
No, I think I then did ask the second part, which is what are the implications?
I have a question about your use of costumes. I was very interested in the costumes you chose. Clearly, you were able to. The costumes of the Chinese empress had a kimono kind. Clear's was a version of Elizabeth's costume. Generally, the costumes were sort of vaguely late Victorian, mid-Victorian-ish. Now, I realise that you're working with what's available, so I'm not criticising. But my question is this. I think if I had been director of this, but I would have been tempted to put you all in modern dress. How would that have changed? Or does it matter?
You want to present today's condition?
Yeah, I mean, what would you think of that as an idea?
It may be a little bit harsh criticism for today's world too, I think. Maybe if we dress in modern days and still saying our lines like that, it still shows that nothing is really changed from that sentence to this sentence.
But you've been suggesting that many things have not changed in your earlier answers, so that would be entirely justified.
Yes, but then maybe
Or are you afraid of offending your audience? Are you being like...
I'm very easily offended.
No, I mean seriously. I'm just curious. It was something that occurred to me as I was watching.
About the character, that's really I can answer that. They can get into that mood with the costume further. This is the first time for many of them that they're acting on stage, apart from Gamze. So, I mean, even in rehearsals, after choosing the costumes, once they wore those costumes, they were quite confident and they have known that they're now acting another character.
Yes,
So that helps a little bit with amateur groups.
Okay.
I think for more professional cases, they can
So I was going to say the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, because for example, if I play, it's already, you said it's not like a drama, and it's like a just pageant, like a parade. So it's,
Right, so the costumes are important to give that sense of the pageant. Yes, that's a very good point. Yes, that's do you have any more questions?
Maybe. We've touched on this already, I think, but Hazal, I think it was you in your speech right at the start of the play. There was a line, something like, I tried to scribble it down, but I might have put it slightly wrong. It is only in the last generation that we have discovered we have a mind.
Yes.
Is that?
That was what she said, the version that I wrote it down to.
Yeah, brain and the mind, that's right, I remember. I couldn't get brain and mind down in time. Yeah, we've only just discovered we had a brain and a mind. Firstly, do you think that was true in or around 1910? And if not, other, because the whole thing that there seems to be a precedent there. It's looking back to these women who presumably did have brains and minds and knew that they had brains and minds. So I wondered if you could say a little bit about that.
Maybe they already know they have a brain and a mind, but they haven't enough courage to stand against man. And he says we have a brain and a mind, and day by day women become more aware that they are individual, not mothers only or wives. And I think Slamaton refers that, and these women also know that they have a brain and a mind, and also they act, they do something for their country, for themselves, for other women. Maybe this have a brain and a mind refers to.
In my essay, I mentioned I took from Kant what is enlightenment. He mentions about it's not related to our subject. He's not right about woman, but he uses the word docile creatures. Yeah, I use that words in my essay because women were turned into docile creatures because the society, the man's position in the society pushed the woman in a submissive role, and that's why maybe Hazal's cue, very heavens and mind or brain, maybe represents this kind of explanation.
Yeah, perhaps. I think what I find troubling is this sense that this narrative that women were all living in darkness until, late 19th, early 20th century. I think, and this is where it tangles up so much, I think, with class issues, and that, it's not a coincidence that, the suffragette movement is rising up at the same time as a socialist movement in Britain is also gathering pace. It seems to me there are many cases of groups of women throughout history who have very self-consciously thought about their own minds and brains, but they were usually aristocratic groups of women, certainly in the period I work on, actually in the Renaissance. So. Or, interestingly, they're often within the church. I mean, if you go back to medieval times, you know, so within that sort of bigger patriarchal structure of the church, there were spaces in which women could start thinking about what being a woman meant. So yes, I'm just a little sort of anxious about that kind of narrative of kind of suddenly women. You know, why is it in 1910 that this change happened?
Maybe Sister Hamilton wanted to emphasize the movements. Yeah, there was no darkness, maybe completely, but to express the importance of this movement, women's suffrage movement, maybe she expressed the change.
I mean, we wouldn't deny its importance, but you know, the fact is that I mean, somebody said in there saying that when women got the vote, it annihilated the male hegemony. No, it didn't. Did it? And a huge yes, Gamze. You seem to be ashamed. I mean, it didn't. It still hasn't. And as you said, we've not discussed it, which has been very good, right? I have a final question, which comes out of Hazal's answer to Patrick's last question. You used the word, in the same sentence, you said you talked about feminism and talked about standing against men. To be a feminist, do I have to stand against men, or should I stand against the system of patriarchy?
I think it depends on the situation. Not if there is a situation that, for example, in your social life, you feel that man. If you feel that man thinks that he is the superior one,
They don't tend to.
maybe in this case you can stand against that
And they
man.
happen for a long time. That's why the men when I was younger didn't like me. I didn't do it, to be honest. So yes, okay. But which is more important, standing against individual men or standing against the system?
I think
Go ahead, Begüm.
In that sense, I agree with Hazal. It depends on the situation. She said because I think if a woman sees violence from a man, for example, if her husband beats her, it should be standing against men. But if she sees that there's a problem in the whole society, I think she should stand against the patriarchy.
Don't let it go together.
I think she depends on the woman, especially the woman's power in the society. If she is powerful in the society, yes, she can stand against the patriarchal system. But if she isn't, then I think there is no effort.
But if they really want to change something, I think it should be against the patriarchal system. Because one man cannot change the whole man.
Yeah, really go together.
maybe they can begin standing against man.
Yeah,
And
no,
this leads them to
if you
become
have an
stand
individual-
against the system at all.
If you have an individual case of oppression,
Yes.
you know, if Professor Randall comes along and treats me as a kind of secretary, which he doesn't, he absolutely doesn't. You know, but if you were to ever to do that, then I would start by saying, excuse me, Professor, but
And maybe once more she stand against man, then she can find the courage to stand against the system.
yeah, right. One would need to.
It's related to each other. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm going to say it as I'm the only man.
Yeah, I know.
Not quite the only man in the room, but I'm staying very quiet over there. Okay, I'm going to say it.
Go on.
Does it? Would this ever mean standing against a woman?
Oh, absolutely.
And in what circumstances?
For example, if they're raised in patriarchal society and their minds work accordingly, they have patriarchal thoughts, of course we should against it too.
Yeah, prejudice in the play is a man, but it could have been an older woman, a conservative woman. It occurred to me.
I'm tempted to say maybe a more intriguing play.
Yeah, I think so too.
If less didactically.
Let's probably realistic. I finished.
I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shall we, we were saying it's probably easier for, in this case, for us to go away and leave the students to change and do everything rather than.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.